Yogis, welcome to your Maya reset. Today's practice is a grounding, resetting practice where we find ourselves taking our time to connect to that earth energy that is both within us and all around us. And that energy is the energy of Prithvi Earth. It's the energy of Gaia. When we talk about Gaia, the goddess of Earth, that often springs to mind the posture of goddess posture, the posture of Gaia. And we'll be taking a variation of that today in a supported version. Now, thick postures that we're working with is a Mandukasana, a frog pose, to work with those postures for today's practice and to ensure we feel completely reset. We seek the support of a couple of different props. If you can grab yourself a bolster and a couple of blocks and a blanket or any props that you're able to utilize that would substitute for these. Hit pause if you need to grab those, and otherwise, once you've settled with your props upon your mat within reach, we're going to be finding ourselves into a supported Virasana to open today's practice, your hero pose. Now, Virasana helps to open the quads, those large muscles through the fronts of the leg. And I'm starting my practice today and opening my practice with my daily sadhana. And one of those is to connect to the senses, to elevate the senses. And it's a beautiful spiritual practice to be able to connect to our senses prior our practice, to awaken and enliven the cells within us. It assists us to take that journey via the breath and to really tune into our intuition. And the oil that I've been working with of late and that is perfect for today's practice is balance. So if you have a really beautiful grounding oil or practice that you like to take, whether it be lighting some Palo Santo or some incense, take that now. I'm taking my balance today to the back of my neck to release through the upper traps, through the levator scapula, those meaty, muscly parts of the neck that we find tense when our energy is up in our head. We're looking to release out of those muscles and really set and ground today. And once you've found your way into your Virasana, we elongate the spine, maybe releasing the meaty part of the buttocks to allow the pelvis to find a neutral alignment, a gentle tilt in the lumbar spine, tilt in the pelvis and curvature of the lumbar spine. Connecting to our Prithvi Mudra, that fire element of our thumbs. Now earth element of our ring fingers connecting. We find the arms elongated, the length of our thighs, and close down the eyes. Connecting to your breath. Settling in. And drawing a beautiful, long, slow breath through the nose as you inhale. Releasing the breath out of your nose. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the nose. And as you connect to this beautiful, long, deep inhalation and exhalation, check in with the muscles of your face and the muscles that surround the scalp. Are you able to draw and invite them to a relaxed state, to settle them in toward the sit bones, feeling those muscles around the scalp and the face soften and slide down the face. Today's practice is Gaia's got you. As we surrender down toward the sit bones and toward the earth, there's a level of surrender and trust that's involved in that process of letting go, letting things be, settling, settling in, surrendering into the earth and the support beneath you, knowing that Gaia has got you. And yogis, with that level of surrender within your breath, within your energy, let's release that Prithvi Mudra and gently blink open the eyes. And you may already be in alignment with your mat. I'll be taking a side profile so you're able to check in with our alignment for the spine. We're looking to take our Virasana now on a single side. So with the bolster running the length now of your mat, we'll be taking this just in a single side today, so we're able to really access the depths of each side individually. One block you'll be utilizing beneath one of your sit bones, and one block is going to be to support your head today. If you want to place that beneath the bolster, around that position, about that top third where you know your head will be, and then take that second block and find your way back to that hero pose, your straddle. And we're going to be taking the left leg into this Virasana to begin with. So the right sit bone will need support of that block, running it across the body beneath the sit bone. We settle into our seat with just that right sit bone supported by the block, and your left sit bone is supported by that Virasana asana posture, the left heel supporting you. Taking your hands to your pelvis, check in with alignment, and initially we'll keep this right knee elevated. Taking your hands beside the body, and we'll slowly peel the back body and the pelvis open to draw back, to feel into the support of the bolster beneath your spine. As you find yourself completely at rest and supported by that bolster, you can check in with the alignment of that cork block beneath the back of the head and ensure that that is beneath the back of your head, otherwise making any subtle adjustments that you need to find that alignment. Hands back to the pelvis and finding some alignment here now. Noticing whether the left or the right hip is more elevated than the other. Feeling that balance and opening, releasing and surrendering through the front of that left leg. Feeling space in the hip flexor, feeling space in the front of the quad, in the front of that left leg. And as you find that center and balance and ground down the pelvis and settle in. And if you feel ready to explore the posture a little more, feel free to release the heel of that right leg and find some length through the right leg now. And palms open, and find some space for the arms beside the body. Maybe taking the arms out on a 45-degree angle. As you close down the eyes and come back to that deep inhale through the nose. And our breath, our connection to Gaia today. It's through that inhale and exhale that we're able to take our journey, and that we're able to connect into that energy channel that runs the length of our spine, that finds us connecting via the base chakra to Gaia, to the earth. And as you slow the breath and elongate both the inhale and exhale, we're able to calm the nervous system, inviting peace and surrender. And taking just one more breath here in this beautiful passive stretch. And then if you took the option of that right leg in that full release, you're going to slowly slide that right heel back in to feel into some support. Right sole of the foot connecting, flip the palms, and draw the chin into chest as you slowly draw the back body away from the bolster, finding your way all the way up to a seat. Long line for the spine. Take the hands over that right knee and gently invite the forehead down now. Rounding out through the lumbar spine, the thoracic and cervical. And with the forehead supported, are you able to release those muscles of the back of the neck? Knowing that you have the support of your hands, the support of your knee, your leg, your foot, the support of the earth. And slowly rising the forehead away from that support and connect the fingertips as you once more take a journey with that right heel, finding length. We're going to take a walk as we peel now the belly forwards, and we're looking to take a tilt of the pelvis as we do so to find length now through the back of that right leg. Drawing the hamstring into a elongated state, and we're staying elevated for today, so tenting the fingertips. Now focus on the tilt of the pelvis, so rather than rounding out through the back body, we keep that long line of energy through the spine, broadening across the shoulder blades and broadening across the collarbones. Maybe take the hands a little wider. Use your inhale to find that lift out of your seat. And as you exhale, slowly find a walk back to your seat, nice and balanced across left side and right side. Use that right hand to assist that right knee back in to rest upon the sole of the foot once more. Let's release out of that compression on the front of the left foot. I'm going to be switching over here, and to do this, we're taking one standing release to switch the block. Fingertips nice and wide, and we're going to slowly press into that right foot and draw into a release through the Achilles and the calf on that right leg. Gentle rock and roll as you release out of the left left and find some length through the back of the right leg. And taking that rock and roll a little further now, drawing to a tuck of the left. As you press into the hands and we roll over that left foot, lift the pelvis, the hips to the sky. We're in a short little pyramid pose here. Inhale, long spine, find those hips balanced and aligned. And then as you exhale, hanging the head heavy, offering the heart and the head to the mat. Taking a ripple in your breath as you inhale. Draw back to those fingertips, looking for a parallel line with your spine and the mat. As you exhale, round out through the low back and draw heart and head to the mat. Once more, inhale, draw to rise. Exhale, melt the belly to the thigh. That next inhale allows you to release out of the left foot and have it draw into alignment with the right. We're slowly unraveling the spine, drawing to rise as your counter to come back to find balance and ground through both feet and find your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Soft through the knees, gentle tuck of the pelvis, neutral lumbar spine. Take a roll of the shoulders and draw the shoulder blades down the back body. Spacious sensation between the shoulders and the ears as your palms peel open. Yogis, let's take that to the other side. Take a cross of the arms. Inhale, draw overhead. Reverse swan dive as we fold and fall back to the earth. Fingertips meet the mat, and we'll adjust that block, taking it across to the left side in preparation to support that left sit bone. That right foot now drawing back, and we'll take a roll over the toes as you slowly find your way back to your seat, settling in just off the bolster. And allow the left sit bone to now be supported. Your right heel supporting your right leg, and that block supporting your left sit bone. The bolster tucked in nice and tight to the pelvis. And fingertips beside you, finding that spine nice and tall, long and strong. And as you exhale, we'll take a walk, peeling the spine back and finding your Ardha Virasana, head supported by the block. Flip the palms and take the arms out on a 45-degree angle. And settling in once more and surrendering into the bolster, into your mats and into the earth beneath you. Maybe taking the palms to check in with that alignment in the hips. And if you're feeling okay here today and you want to take it a little further, slide that left heel out and take the left leg into a deep, long line and release from that left hip. And you'll find it creates a little more space through the hip flexor. And as you come back to your breath, close down the eyes. Checking in with that flow of inhalation and exhalation. And drawing the breath through the nostrils. And releasing the breath from the nostrils. And 3 rounds of breath here. And as you settle into the support, and find some space between the shoulders and the ears, maybe drawing the fingertips down towards that left heel. One more breath. And if you took that option with that left leg nice and long now, we're going to be slowly sliding that left heel back in, finding the sole of the left foot grounding. Flip the palms, draw the chin into chest, slowly pressing into the hands to draw to rise. Adjusting your seat as you need to find the pelvis in a tilt, natural, neutral spine. Hands to the knee. And as you exhale, rounding out through the back body, allowing the forehead to be supported by the hands or by the knee. And take an inhale and draw to rise. And fingertips supporting you once more. And we'll take that left leg back out. And for your Ardha, Virasana, Paschimottanasana, your single side forward fold. Today we're taking with that tilt of the pelvis. As you inhale, find the spine long. And then as you exhale, taking your walk tented in those fingertips. Finding that tilt of the pelvis, drawing you to the point where you can sense the length through that left hamstring. Active stretch here as your left toes remain in a flexed position. Finding some warmth and contraction through the front of the leg as we expect the back of the leg to release and draw into elongated state. One more breath. Maybe drawing that pelvis into a slightly deeper tilt, but keeping the spine nice and long. And as you inhale, let's take that walk all the way up to your seats and draw the left heel back in. Aligning that left heel with the right knee, we're going to be finding our pyramid pose now on this side. And first drawing forwards out of your seat, and you can take that rock and roll over the ball of the left foot. And finding some length in that left Achilles and calf, and just slowly finding your way out of the compression of that right leg, allowing the blood flow to return slowly. Next rock and roll that we take, we're pressing into our fingertips and the ball of that left foot and taking a tuck of the right toes. Let's take the hips to the sky as you find that nice short little pyramid pose. And fingertips to tent, and take that same tilt to the pelvis, finding that alignment as you draw the left hip back. Invite the right hip forward. Take an inhale and find some height, and as you exhale, rippling down the spine, drawing the head heavy and the heart heavy. Inhale, back it off away from the spine, find that lift in space. And as you exhale, rippling down, drawing the belly towards the thigh. And taking that just once more, lifting and finding length. And as you exhale, draw the belly towards the thigh. And this time as you inhale, load into the fingertips, release that right foot and find the feet shoulder width apart as you release the fingertips, and we'll slowly unravel the spine. Take your time. That was a deep release through the hamstrings to find our counter in our Tadasana. Once you find the spine stacked, take a roll of the shoulders. Shoulder blades, send them down the back body. Palms peel open. And take a cross of the arms and sweep overhead as you find length through the spine, reaching for the sky. And as you reverse swan dive down, soft bend in the knees, fingertips find the mat. And walk it up to find the shins now as you take the bend out of the knees and find length in the hamstrings. And we find a halfway lift here now. That tilt of the pelvis, our focus. As we exhale, we're rounding out through the lumbar spine and taking the hands to the backs of the calves. Inhale, halfway lift. Take a walk down from the shins, fingertips to the mat, rolling over the toes now and sinking the hips to the heels and finding yourself in a toe balance. And drawing hands into prayer at heart center. And if you're feeling grounded, if you're feeling centered, knowing that Gaia's got you in this practice, in your practice today. And challenge that alignment and close down the eyes, knowing that even if you fall, Gaia's got you. And yogis, gently blink open the eyes if you are playing with some balance there. And we're going to take a little swivel on our seat now, bolster already set up. And take the knees nice and wide and just remove that block that was supporting your sit bones. And we'll be taking that now to the other end of the bolster. Both blocks lifting that bolster to give you some height. We're taking the knees nice and wide, big toes together to touch, and finding our way to a supported balasana, a supported child's pose with the knees as wide as the mat. You want to be hugging that bolster and finding the end of the bolster all the way in to connect to the pelvis and low belly. As we peel the body forwards, that tilt of the pelvis we were playing with, we're taking once more. And as you pour the pelvis forward, imagining your pelvis as a bucket, we're pouring the water out of the front. Take the fingertips to the mat and slowly release the belly to the bolster. And take it another step and draw the chest to the bolster. And this may be the right height for you. Otherwise, draw that blanket in now to give yourself that little bit of extra support for the chin as you draw the upper body to the bolster. And maybe you find a pillow here for the chin to rest upon your hands. Opening through the throat and settle in with that alignment of the spine and the front body now supported. Are you able here to come back to the breath and find as deep a surrender with the front body supported as you were able to, with the heart exposed and the spine upon the bolster, and sending the breath to the back body. And as you inhale, feel that expansion through the ribs. And as you exhale, lean in, feel into the heaviness of your belly and your heart. And if you're experiencing any tension at all through the neck, making any adjustments to left side or right side of cheek, or maybe you draw forehead to the mat. Whatever your variation of support here upon the bolster, release the hands and slowly take a walk, drawing back into your seat. Now you're already in position for our second peak posture of the practice today. Same level of support and same height. Adjustment just comes now from the knees as we draw out into that Mandukasana, our frog pose. We're going to be drawing ourselves up out of that compression of the feet. And rather than the big toes together to touch, you're now taking the shins to run parallel with the outer edges of the mat. lifting out of your seat and finding the hips elevated. You're drawing now back onto that same position of the bolster and allowing the knees to slide away as you sink down to feel into that complete support of now the pelvis as well as the belly, the heart, maybe coming back to that same positioning with the hands beneath the chin or the forehead. And your alignment when you take Mandukasana, you're looking for those shins to be parallel and the feet turned out and flexed. So you're resting on the inner blades of the feet. And as you settle in there, if you're experiencing any restriction through the knee, a really great option is to take a blanket either side to offer some support beneath the knees, or even press pause and make an adjustment, allowing your posture to run across the mat as you fold forwards and feel into whatever variation of Mandukasana you're taking. Now, frog pose is calling us to deeply externally rotate at that ball and socket joint of the pelvis. And just as you take your Virasana, as the knees fall out and slide out and surrender, the pelvis is invited to open and surrender through the front of the hip. And when we allow our flip and altered perspective using gravity to assist us in our Mandukasana, leaning into our support, we're able to surrender more deeply. And if you've surrendered to the point where your hip flexors and external rotators or any of those little muscles and ligaments of the pelvis are no longer feeling tight, tense, or a release, maybe you would like to take these final breaths in a slightly deeper Mandukasana. We draw the big toes together to touch, press into the hands, and simply release that bottom block from beneath the bolster. And take that one off to the side, keeping the block in the top bolster for support. Back into the hands. Take a walk forwards to allow the pelvis to be supported. Take the feet out into that flexed position, allowing the shins to run parallel once more. And slowly take your walk back into the support of the bolster. And settling in, whatever your variation, whatever option you're taking in your Mandukasana. Are you able to allow this release to be a passive one? Notice whether you're holding tension anywhere through the pelvis, the hips, the knees, the ankles. Releasing any tension in the feet. And if you've taken one cheek to the bolster, take a rotation now and take it to the other side. Your Mandukasana, your frog pose, a beautiful counter for the seat that we take all day, every day. That flex state of the hip. creates that shortening. It's here in our Mandukasana that we're able to find a beautiful counter, inviting length back, inviting a spaciousness back. But to feel fully into that spaciousness, we are called to surrender. We are called to invite a softness. And it's in that softness that we find our strength. Yogis, let's release out of your Mandukasana by taking the fingertips back to connect to the mat. Draw the big toes together to touch once more. Slowly take a walk, releasing the chest, the belly. From the bolster, drawing back to your seats. We're drawing the knees back in into alignment. And then finding your way back to a Virasana, where we begun, this time facing the bolster. And that pelvic support you're taking for your final pose today in your Maya reset. We'll take that single block beneath the left sit bone. As you find your Virasana now, with that right sit bone supported by the heel, your left sit bone supported by the block, and find length through that left leg, tucked in quite tightly beside the bolster. And you'll want the right knee to tightly tuck into the bolster, and the left knee tightly tucking in, and find your seats. And tall, long and strong once more. And as we take our Ardha Virasana, Paschimottanasana, now in a support and surrender that we took earlier, we now find that rounding out of the low back, and maybe you make an adjustment to provide a little more support for the belly by drawing that block and that support to a medium height now at the center of your bolster. Adjusting your blanket to the low belly and the chest as you peel forwards, taking the hands across the bolster, finding a pillow for the head. And where our previous variation remained an active stretch, we're now transforming that Ardha Virasana Paschimottanasana into a passive version as you come back to consider any tension that you're holding here within your seat, within your asana. Are you able to release tension through the left toes, the left foot, maybe taking a little rock and roll over that heel, releasing the entire left leg and drawing the left cheek and ear to the bolster. And the final breath, yogis, for your left side. As you inhale, send that breath to the back body. And feeling into the expansion of the rib cage, and as you release the exhale, release the support of the head, draw the chin back to center. You're going to want to peel yourself back out of that support ever so slowly, drawing back to a balanced state in the pelvis, and assist that left leg with your left hand, drawing the knee all the way back into the chest, resting into the sole of that left foot. That little pyramid pose we took earlier, we find once more. fingertips meeting the mat, pressing into the shin on the right. We tuck the toes on that right foot and roll over to find sole of the right foot. Inhale, find length for the spine. Exhale, bowing that forehead down. As you inhale and draw to rise, take a step with that right foot now, finding the feet shoulder width apart, framing that bolster, and we switch the block now to support the right. Final side, final posture as you find the left heel towards the sit bones, and we settle that left shin and that left knee now tucked in nice and tightly against the bolster on the left side. Left sit bone supported by the left heel and right sit bone supported by the block. Tucking the pelvis nice and tightly into the edge of the bolster. Slowly find length for that right leg. And tight squeeze of both the left and the right knee upon the bolster. Releasing tension through the right leg. And find your seat tall. And as we take the tilt of the pelvis, peeling the belly forward, filling into the support of the belly upon the bolster and the blanket. And as you release forward, find the head supported by the hands and take the right cheek, right ear to the bolster. In this beautiful state of surrender, even here knowing you are grounded, even here knowing you are supported by your structure and the structures that you have provided for your spine and for your sit bones. Notice whether even here you're holding tension, finding a gentle little pivot and rock and roll over the heel of that right leg maybe, and taking some touch to that right foot, the toes. Noticing whether you're holding tension through the foot, the ankle, that right knee. Any tension through the muscles of the length of that right leg. Inviting that surrender and taking your final breath here, completely settled, completely supported. And draw the chin back to center. Releasing fingertips to the mat, peeling your way back to your seat. And it's a deep release through the back of that right leg, yogi. So again, helping with that right hand, the release of that right knee. Take your time to draw the sole of the foot back to the mat. And as you take the fingertips to the mat and we find our way back to our pyramid pose, we press into the right foot, rolling over the toes on the left. Ball of the foot to rise, left heel to plant back into the mat. In pyramid pose, we lift and find space for the belly. And as you exhale, maybe finding the forehead to rest upon the blanket. Inhale, find length for the spine and step it with the left leg back in to find feet shoulder width apart. Release that block out from beneath the sit bones to make sure there's nothing behind you. And here as you take your hands to your shins and we take a halfway lift. And we lift out of the pelvis. Exhale, fold it down and slowly unravel the spine. Take your time, both of those hamstrings now. I'm calling for that counter. As you draw to your Tadasana, take a roll of the shoulders. Send the shoulder blades down the back body, open the palms, find length and space between the shoulders and the ears. And let's take a walk. We settle in for our Savasana in your seat. In today's Savasana, you're taking in the support of your spine upon the bolster. And we'll find the feet shoulder width apart back at the top of the mat and take a sweep as we inhale to rise, linking into linking. The hands open the palms. Release and find a swan dive. Fingertips to the mat or to your shins, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the calves. Fingertips to the mat once more. Inhale, halfway lift, rolling over the toes. Allow the heels to rise. Come back to that toe balance. One last time. And finding a seat and inviting both sit bones now down to the mat. And taking your blanket across the body. That warmth that we create in our postures, the fire that we invite into the muscles, the ligaments, we want to hold on to here for our Savasana. And as you wrap your body to maintain that warmth, we're tucking the pelvis, we're tucking the bolster into the back of the pelvis and slowly draping our spine back to rest upon the bolster. And that block once more supporting the head, so making any adjustments you need, maybe taking that block to medium height if you would like a little extra support today. And as you take the spine back to rest upon the bolster, we check in with that block to make sure it's directly beneath the head. And then slowly allow the knees to fall out, feeling into a Supta Balasana for your Savasana today. Outer blades of the feet here supporting you and connecting. The knees peeled open. Allow them to drape towards the earth, and now feeling into that passive stretch for the pelvis as you now allow gravity to do the work in the opposing side of our hips as we find the arms released away from the body, the palms open. Now drawing the breath to feel into that expansion through the front body. And as you inhale, find space between the ribs. Allow for that diaphragmatic breathing. And as you exhale, feel into the heaviness and the support beneath the spine. One more conscious breath, deeply inhale. As you exhale here, sighing out the breath, sighing out and releasing the practice. As you find your way to this reset, this complete surrender. And trust and have faith, yogis, that the earth is here to support you, that Gaia's got you. And yogis, if you are practicing at home and you have the benefit of time, please hit pause now and stay in your savasana for as long as you can. And otherwise, the eyes close down. Flip the palms and connect fingertips to the mat. Draw the chin into your chest. And slowly take a walk back to your seat. Find your Sukhasana, your easy cross leg. And from your Sukhasana, we settle in our seat. We settle into our sit bones. We find length and space for the spine. Sensing that spaciousness for that beautiful flow of energy and that channel that runs through our spine. Allowing your next inhale to lift you, to elevate you, to allow you to feel a sense of lightness. And as we remain grounded, we feel into that flow all the way through crown. Connecting what is above you and what is below you. At the center of it all, let's find our prayer at your heart center. Yogis, our practice often calls for us to have courage, to have faith, to trust the process. As we take our practice off the mat today, my hope for you is that you leave the four corners of your mat, you're able to completely embody and embrace that same level of courage, that same level of faith and trust that you have here in Gaia, knowing that she is always within you, always supporting you, and always surrounding you. Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful energy of Gaia today with me. Namaste.